Every new year, do you feel like you just have a list of so many things that you want to change or accomplish, and you just can't really conceptualize how you're going to get all those things done in a new year or really any time of the year? Well, today we have an amazing class about tiny habits from Brooke Snow. Brooke Snow is the creator of the Brooke Snow podcast. She has been a fan favorite teacher here. She's gifted at teaching these concepts that really stick with us, and we can't wait for you to learn about how we can incorporate tiny habits into our life to really help us reach our goals and make change.
Hello friends, welcome to How Tiny Habits Can Help You Reach Your Goals. My name is Brooke Snow and I am an author, a podcaster, and founder of the Creation Coach program, where I help awesome people like you create your life and your goals through small and simple strategies that bring about amazing results. The new year brings incredible energy and an increase in motivation to change our life and become better people. Perhaps like me, you have discovered that motivation is not a very trustworthy source to rely on for our life and goals. Motivation is not consistent or reliable. In fact, it's very fickle. You may have had moments of high motivation for something that compels you to make a resolution or to take the first few steps in starting a new behavior, only to find within a short time that you aren't as fired up as you were in the beginning, and the new resolution feels much more difficult. When we rely on motivation to change our life, we will always be disappointed. The good news is, if you have lost motivation for your goals in the past, it's totally not your fault. Nothing is wrong with you. Motivation isn't consistent for anyone. The main difference between those people in the world who are elite performers and the rest of the world is that elite performers, they've learned how to show up and do what needs to be done even when they don't feel like it. So, if none of us can rely on motivation to reach our goals, what is the secret? First of all, we need to understand that resolutions help you know what you want, but they don't always tell you how to get it. We not only need to be able to move beyond motivation, we also need to understand how we are going to accomplish our resolution or our goal. John Maxwell said, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily." The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Friends, I am so excited to teach you today about tiny habits. The amazing part about tiny habits is you don't need high motivation, and it helps you change something that you do every day. My goal for this class is to help you take your goal or your resolution and break it down into a tiny daily habit that requires very little motivation, and it will empower you to make progress towards your goal every single day. Tiny Habits is a method developed by Dr. BJ Fogg at Stanford University. He's the author of the book Tiny Habits, and I highly recommend this book. BJ Fogg teaches a really simple method to help you design a tiny habit for yourself using what he calls a recipe. His recipe simply states, after I fill in the blank, I will fill in the blank and celebrate. Memorize this. After I fill in the blank, I will fill in the blank and celebrate. So there's 3 parts to this recipe. First, a prompt. After I. Second is a tiny habit. I will. And third, a celebration. The prompt helps you to remember. The habit gives you a very specific tiny behavior to do, and the celebration helps you feel successful. So let's talk about each one of these in more detail. First, the prompt is designed to anchor your habit to something you already do every day. Have you ever set a resolution and then you simply forgot about it? The prompt helps you to remember without having to rely on a reminder or an alarm, as well as helping you know when you will do your habit. The tiny habit is called a tiny habit because It's supposed to be tiny. Tiny means tiny. What we're gonna do is create a behavior that is so small that you can do it without motivation. Tiny habits should not take more than 30 seconds to do, and it should be within your current ability to do it. And finally, celebrate! This step will likely be the most unnatural for most people. And once you do your tiny habit, you celebrate. Celebration is gonna look different from person to person. It could be as small as a little fist bump in the air, you could do a cheer, you could dance, you could say an affirmation. Celebration is built into the recipe because habit formation has more to do with how a habit makes you feel than the number of times that you repeat it. BJ Fogg teaches that people change when they feel good. Habits are formed because emotion, not because of repetition. So you wanted quick evidence of this? Is this really true? Well, if you give a teenager a smartphone, do you think it's going to take 21 days to form a habit with the smartphone? No! You can form habits instantly because of the emotion associated with the behavior. And we're going to work this into our advantage in our tiny habits by energizing them with positive emotion. So let me give you some examples of how tiny habits work. For me personally, I have meditated for years in the morning, and lately I've really wanted to expand this into also meditating at night. But it's been really hard for me to create this habit until I used this method. My tiny habit recipe for evening meditation is, after I turn down my bed covers, I will sit on my chair and take one deep breath and celebrate. I know the moment that I turn down those bed covers, it is my prompt to sit in my chair and take one deep breath. This requires very little motivation. If I am deliriously tired, I stop at one breath and I celebrate that I did it, and then I go to bed. Other nights, that one breath is all it takes to get me moving into action, and I meditate for much longer. The secret here, though, is that the bar is never raised. I do more when I feel like doing more, and each effort is celebrated. I'm training my behavior to be easy enough that I don't need motivation, and I won't talk myself out of it. And I celebrate so that I associate a positive emotion with the behavior, and I want to do it again. So remember what we have learned earlier. Resolutions help you know what you want, but they don't tell you how to get it. So let's see if we can workshop a few common resolutions or goals to help you create a tiny habit. So, resolution, want to work out more. How about some tiny habit examples? After I drink my glass of water in the morning, I will put on my running shoes and celebrate. Or how about this one? After I get dressed in the morning, I will do one push-up and celebrate. Or how about this common resolution? Eat healthier. After I unload my groceries, I will prep one container of vegetables and celebrate. How about one more resolution to workshop? Here's a resolution of improve my marriage. Here's a few examples I came up with. After my husband comes home from work, I will stop what I'm doing and give him a hug and kiss. Or after my husband irritates me, I will take a deep breath and smile. This is actually what we call a pearl habit, where we can take something that is an irritant in our life and turn it into a prompt that actually creates something good. Tiny habits is a really amazing way to work towards your goals in a way that is really specific, and it requires very little motivation, and it feels amazing. Some of these habits will always remain tiny. Other habits you can grow as you see fit. If you love the simplicity of this type of change and you would like to learn more small and simple ways to change your life, check out my podcast on iTunes, Brooke Snow Podcast, or you can join me in my once a year Creation Coach program. Opens in the next few weeks, and we will spend 9 months this year transforming every part of our life in small and simple ways that lead to something great. You can do this. I am cheering you on.
Thank you so much, Brooke. We love that class. I hope all of you watching loved it as well, and it's really helped you this year to kind of think about your tiny habits and how you're going to improve yourself this year. As a complement to this class she just taught, last year Brooke taught a class about floors and ceilings and giving ourselves kind of different parameters when we're setting new goals or trying to create new habits. And that is a great companion class. Brooke wanted us to remind you about that class because it goes really well hand in hand with this class. So we'll link that for you in our stories today. We'll also link her podcast and her website. Brooke has a slew of different amazing subjects that she covers on her podcast, but also on her website. She has a meditation course that Jamie and I have both done and we've loved. She's getting ready to create her new mastermind group for 2021, which is a great community Jamie and I were a part of last year, trying to help you reach and plan for your goals. So we hope you guys have loved this class. Again, if you appreciate it, make sure you leave a comment or like the post so that more people can get eyes on it. And we always appreciate it as well when you share the class. So thanks for being here, guys.